And now, Rob on the road, exploring Northern California.
Goodwill, a noun. By definition, a feeling of approval and support, genuine interest and concern for others. But this goodwill could be a verb, an action, born of loving concern and life-saving focus. Who knew a thrift store could not only repurpose thousands of possessions, but also rebuild people's lives?
If you hadn't found us, what do you think you'd be doing? Out here?
I love that your guys' relationship is so cool. Like, you're just, every time I see you together, you guys are always happy, and I can tell that you support each other, and that is, it's something that's really hard to find in the world, so I'm super stoked that you have that. That's cool. Don't ever forget it.
Richard Abruzzi, Asia Jackson, Anthony Galloway, and Counselor Monique Osborne are tackling troubles one tier at a time. Less than a year before this gathering of gratitude, Asia and Anthony were homeless and alone. Today, they have jobs, an apartment, and a life together. Richard is the hands-on, open-door policy president and CEO of Goodwill Sacramento Valley and Northern Nevada. Richard is in charge of the region's 36 retail stores, an online platform, and 90 donation centers with more than 2,700 employees. The dollars raised when you shop Goodwill turn into this.
Come here. What are those tears? Tell me about your tears.
Just how far I came and the help and support I had. I felt alone for a long time and that I wasn't going to get a lot of help. And I did.
Asia and Anthony are clients of Wind Youth Services at 8th and S Streets in downtown Sacramento. It's a safe space for homeless youth to find full-service respite, creative care, employment, and independence. Wind is one of 5 regional nonprofits powered by Goodwill, and the dollars raised through the massive network of retail thrift stores, whose bottom line is people, planet, and performance.
Goodwill is really the community, right? We are basically a vehicle in which the community serves the community members that they live and interact with every single day.
It's all about the community because it funds itself.
Right? When you make a purchase at Goodwill, you're not just getting a good deal in a retail store, right? That money's going directly back to the community and services that, for most people, they don't even know exist. And so when you make a donation or you make a purchase at Goodwill, you really are the vehicle in which we can provide those services back to the community.
And those services are huge. And they're so much more than I knew.
They're life-changing, Rob. I mean, they really are services that without them being in place, people would be on the streets. They would not be reunited with their families. They would have their kids taken away from them. You know, it's not just a retailer, it's really a life changer.
Goodwill is like a family circle who encompass 5 incredibly important family member organizations. Alongside Wind is Next Move Homeless Services. This is the Next Move complex, providing housing for an entire family under one roof, including meals and direct services like job placement and financial assistance. There's 211 Community Link, a hotline for homeless issues or anyone in need of services. Francis House, a beacon of hope for Sacramento's homeless population in the Riverfront District. And People of Progress, serving the homeless in Redding. So these 5 very large nonprofits are supported by Goodwill, thus you.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, if not for Goodwill, they would not be in existence.
I love that. And if it were not for the goodwill of the people in this region.
Right. We often talk about internally because of Goodwill, because of you, and that you is the community. And so they are the ones that allow for us to do the work. You know, we can build the infrastructure, but without the community support, we're nothing. And so every time somebody visits a store or they donate something at one of our donation sites, they really are putting fuel into that vehicle to allow for this transformation to happen.
Transforming lives is hard work. Goodwill provides job training, employment placement services, and other community-based programs for people who have barriers preventing them from getting jobs or a place to call home.
And when someone spirals into homelessness, the smallest things can be the biggest hurdles. You can't get a driver's license without an address.
Right.
And you can't get a job without a driver's license.
Right.
There are basics that are fundamental roadblocks that people are denied.
Which is exactly why we have the organizations under our umbrella that we do. Francis House and Next Move are two really great examples for adults experiencing homelessness, where those services are provided and we will handhold them through the steps. And the same thing happens at Wind Youth for the youth that are experiencing homelessness. You just need somebody to be able to walk you through that process. They're looking at the community and the resources that we have, but they're unsure how to navigate. So I guess I'd answer your question differently. Be a navigator. Be somebody that connects, ask what the need is, and then help them through that process.
Right. That's what I mean by you may not be able to solve it, but you know people that can help.
Yep.
Join the wheel. Be another spoke. Be of goodwill. And we hear the sentence, it's so cliche, but it's so true. It does take a village.
Oh, it takes more than a village. It really does.
This village provides a staggering amount of support. In 2018, Goodwill helped 350,000 people with 1 million services provided.
What drives you, Richard, as someone who leads this organization? What is your personal drive for this?
You know, there's a lot. At the core of why I do what I do, it's because I really do care. Mm-hmm. And I understand that everybody has been dealt a deck of cards that oftentimes they had no say in. And I believe that together we can play a beautiful game of life. And we use our cards interchangeably, and we match where we match, and we trade where we need to trade. Mm. I can wake up every day and know that we're changing the lives of somebody in our community. And our staff is the other driving motivation, right? These folks, oftentimes they work with really difficult environments and situations, and they come every single day with a smile on their face because they too are committed to making sure that we change the landscape in this community.
And I go back to Anthony and Asia.
Yeah.
They said today, with tears in their eyes of joy, mm-hmm. that they would not be where they are today without the blessing of Wind.
Yeah. And I want to make sure we give them their own credit, right? Because we only are as good as the person that wants to help themselves. The client has to be ready to make that change in their life. Mm-hmm. And when they are, we are going to be there to support them in whatever way possible. We will not let them fail. My grandma, she always asks why. You know, there's always a question to why. It's like kind of that 2-year-old asking their parents why this, why that, why
to
that.
Everything.
To everything. And I've been able to let that stick with me and ask our staff why, and question why we do what we do. Is there a way to do it better? Is there a way to do it more efficient? Can we be a better steward of the donors' resources that we have in the community? And oftentimes the why is the Anthony, the Asia, all the clients that we serve, and all of the employees that we employ. We do that because of them, for them. And it goes back to that same because of goodwill. You know, because of goodwill, people have a second chance. Because of goodwill, people have their lives back together. They have their kids with them. They've bought their first house. They've become sober for 10 years. There are so many reasons that Goodwill has been there to support them, and that's my why. And the short answer is just because. It's the right thing to do.
Murphy Austin Adams Schoenfeld LLP, focusing on business law and commercial litigation, is proud to support Rob on the Road, Region Rising. More information available at murphyaustin.com.